We know for sure that having sales skills can make such a big difference in your nutrition business. This is Nutrition for Your Business, the show where we simplify business building tactics that actually work. Hi, I'm Abigail.
And I'm Ashley.
And on today's episode of Nutrition for Your Business, we are going to teach you how to sell your nutrition services like a boss.
If you ask any health professional what their biggest business weakness is, they'll probably tell you that it's selling. And let's be real, no one likes selling. It can feel gross and it can feel pushy.
Right, but sales is a skill, and it's a really important skill at that. And I don't know about you, Ashley, but I feel like learning how to sell is one of the most important skills I've learned as a business owner.
Of course, if you're not selling your services, do you even have a business? In the health industry, practitioners aren't really taught how to sell because the emphasis is on helping people. But if you're in private practice, that means the first step to helping someone is actually selling them the service that's going to help.
Right. We know for sure that having sales skills can make such a big difference in your nutrition business. And we also know that you can sell in a way that feels authentic, genuine, and overall really good to you, which is what we're going to show you how to do today.
Yeah, as a health professional, there are many different ways that you can sell your products and services, but by far the most common way that health professionals are booking clients is through discovery calls. So a discovery call is arguably the most important conversation you will have when it comes to converting your leads into paying clients, aka making sales.
And a discovery call can happen on the phone, in person, or even online, and it's a short 15 to 30 minute complimentary chat that you schedule with someone who has expressed interest in working with you.
The goal of a discovery call is to explore this potential client's needs, determine if you're a good fit to work together, and get them to trust in your ability to help them.
Right, and we love discovery calls because they make it really easy to know what to do when a client says, hey, I'm interested in working with you. So whether they reach out through email, social media, or in person, you know that the next natural step in converting them into a paying client is a discovery call.
And then having a process for discovery calls is going to be a huge game changer, especially if you can get really good at them. And this call is often the first conversation that you will have with a client, and it'll set the tone for your whole relationship. So this is why it's so important to make sure that you get it right. If you can master the art of a discovery call, you'll be booking clients left, right, and center.
So yeah, offering discovery calls is really great. But what is even more important is how you structure them. So there's going to be a lot to get through with your potential clients in a really short amount of time.
Once you get on the call, you're going to have to build trust, discover their problems, show them that you can solve the problem, and talk about the next steps. That's a lot to accomplish in between 15 and 30 minutes, which is why you have to have a solid structure in place that converts.
Right. So that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to walk you through step by step how to conduct great discovery calls that will have you converting leads into paying clients naturally and with ease. So get ready because you're going to walk away from this episode with a solid process for making sales through discovery calls without ever feeling salesy.
Yeah, and I can almost guarantee that this is going to positively change how you approach selling forever. And there are 4 steps to this structure, so let's dive right into them.
Okay, step 1 of your discovery call, start positive and set the agenda. So one of the most important factors in making a sale is likability. People buy from people they like, which is why it's so important that you start building likability with your potential client right away by kicking off the call on a positive note.
So starting the call by complaining about the weather or the poor traffic or the lingering cold that you're dealing with is not going to foster likability.
Right. So instead, start with something positive, like showing appreciation for them being there and saying how excited you are to chat with them. We want you to smile, even if you're on the phone, because your potential client will be able to feel it. And they need to feel safe and comfortable before they're ready to share personal information with you.
And then after the good vibes are flowing, set the agenda for the discovery call so your potential client knows exactly what to expect. Explain that the goal of the call is for you to learn more about their current situation and how you might be able to help.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot, but it's actually quite simple. Here's how it might sound on your discovery call.
So you might say, hi, thank you so much for joining me for this discovery call. I really appreciate it, and I'm so excited to chat with you.
And then for the agenda, you might say something like this.
So the main objective of this call is for me to learn more about your current challenges and explore if I can help you with those. These calls usually last around 30 minutes, so we'll aim to wrap things up by 10 a.m. Does that still work for your timing?
And then finally, involve them in the conversation by saying something like,
is there anything else that you were hoping to get out of today's call?
Easy and natural, right?
Totally. And now that you and your potential client are on the same page, it's time to move on to step number 2, which is discovering their problems.
Right, and it's called a discovery call for a reason. There's a lot of discovering that needs to happen.
So step 2, the discovery phase, will take up the bulk of the call. And it is super important that you're asking the right questions so that you can discover their problems and, of course, present a solution.
So to get the discovery conversation started, we want you to lead with an open-ended question like, what led you to book this discovery call with me today?
That simple question will get the ball rolling and you will get a general understanding of what their main issues are. Listen really closely and identify their main pain points. Then dig deeper into those pain points by asking them to tell you more.
Right. Ask questions that start with things like what, why, who, when, and how to help you identify your potential client's pain points and how you can help them.
Yeah, so for example, let's say that a client reveals they've booked a discovery call with you because they have gained a lot of weight and they're looking to lose it. You might ask questions like, how is this weight gain impacting your life? What would losing this weight mean for you? What would success look like for you? Why are you looking to lose the weight now? What do you feel that you're missing out on because of this weight gain? And what would life look like for you if you lost the weight?
Right, so once you understand their pain points, I want you to summarize them before you move forward because this shows you're listening, that you understand, and that you actually care. Then ask if there's anything they would like to add or if there's anything else they would like you to know.
Yeah, it might sound something like this. So, okay, what I'm hearing is that you're experiencing consistent weight gain and you're looking to get it under control and shed the extra weight that you've put on so you can get back to feeling like your usual energetic and confident self again. Is that right? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
So, by the time you're done with this step, you should feel as though you really understand your potential client and their struggles. Which brings us to step 3, where you tell them how you can solve their problems.
Now that you have a firm understanding of this potential client and their problems, you can explain how your services or programs can really help them. If you do feel like this client is a good fit for your services, first confirm that you're confident you can help.
Yeah, and then next, if you can, tell a true story about how you have helped a client struggling with similar issues. Telling a story is one of the most effective ways to sell. Explaining how you have helped someone similar will be far more compelling than just talking about your services and programs. We can guarantee that when the call is over, your potential client will remember stories much more than anything else you might present them with.
Yeah, and if you can't think of a relatable story, don't worry. Simply tell your potential client that based on what you've discussed, you really believe that you can help them overcome their challenges, and then ask if they are interested in hearing about how you can help.
Yes, you heard that right. We want you to ask your potential client if they are interested in hearing more about your services. Asking for permission before you jump into your pitch will relieve that feeling of being pushy or salesy, and it'll make the client feel more comfortable. And it also helps you seamlessly transition in a way that makes you confident they are interested in learning more.
Yeah, so here's how this step could sound in your discovery call. You might say, Great. So this is definitely something that I can help with. I like to focus on habits and daily food choices rather than recommending extreme restrictive diets. One of my clients recently was able to lose most of the weight that she gained just by switching out some pantry staples for healthier options that actually ended up saving her money. And we go through a pantry clean out in my 12-week transformation program, which I think would be an amazing fit for you based on what you've told me today. Would you be interested in hearing more about that?
Cool. Once you get permission from your potential client, go ahead and tell them about your services that best suit their needs, including your pricing. So don't make your potential clients awkwardly ask how much your services or programs cost. Tell them, and tell them with confidence.
And remember, when going through your services and programs, you must relate them back to the problem that your client is having. Don't just rhyme off your services with a one-size-fits-all approach. Go into detail about how your offerings will help this potential client with the exact problems that they just told you about.
All right, so now you have discovered this potential client's pain points and you've presented them with a solution. So where do you go from here?
So from here, you're gonna summarize everything that you've talked about and ask them how they're feeling about your chat. Make sure that all of their questions are answered, and then you'll be ready for the fourth and final step, which is where you give them a call to action.
Right, so this is going to require some emotional intelligence on your end to determine how warm or cold your potential client is when it comes to working with you.
Yeah, if they seem super stoked and ready to commit right now, then tell them exactly how they can sign up and maybe even book their appointment on the spot before your call ends. On the other hand, if they're seeming unsure, let them know that you'll follow up with them tomorrow to see how they're feeling about things.
But either way, ensure you always end your call with a call to action that clearly tells your potential client what to do next or what they can expect from you next, and then be sure to follow through on that.
And there it is, your super efficient, highly effective discovery call. So let's pull it all together so that you can see how beautifully this would sound and flow in real life.
Okay, step 1, start positive and set the agenda.
Thank you so much for booking this discovery call with me today. I'm really grateful for your time, and I'd be so honored to be a part of your health journey. The main objective of this call is for us to get to know one another and to learn more about you and your current health challenges and explore if I might be able to help you with those. Is there anything else that you were hoping to get out of today's call that I haven't already mentioned?
Then, step 2, discover their problems.
So I'd love to start by having you tell me what led you to book this discovery call today.
Then, dig deeper with questions like,
how is this impacting your life? What would success look like to you? What has made you decide now is the time to seek help with this? What do you feel you are missing out on in life because of this challenge? And what would life look like for you if you could achieve your goal?
And then once you've uncovered their big pain points, you can say something like,
okay, so what I'm hearing is that this is a really big issue for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
And then on to step 3, tell them how you can solve their problems.
I want to reassure you that you are definitely not alone. I've worked with so many clients struggling with similar issues. In fact, just yesterday, I had a follow-up appointment with a woman who's seen amazing results from following a custom meal plan that I created for her with a grocery list. Meal planning is just one of the services that I offer in my 6-week nutrition program, which I think would be the best option for you based on what we've talked about today and your goals. Would you be interested in learning more about that?
And then on to step 4, your call to action.
Okay, so we're coming up on time here, and I promised that I wouldn't keep you any longer than planned. But before we wrap up, I'd love to know, how are you feeling after our talk?
And then let's say the client is super interested in working with you.
Awesome. I'm really excited to get the ball rolling with you on this because I know that we can work together to get you feeling awesome. Do you have your calendar handy? Let's get you signed up for your first appointment.
Boom. See how that works? Of course, your discovery calls won't flow perfectly like this, as your potential clients' responses are going to decide on the direction the call goes in, right? But these 4 steps give you a solid structure to follow so you can know where you're heading next, so you can keep the call on track and convert as many leads into paying clients as possible.
So remember the 4 steps. You set the agenda and start positive, discover their problems, tell them how you can solve their problems, and end with a call to action.
So this structure is easy to remember, and it will allow you to have a natural, relaxed conversation that doesn't need to feel pushy or salesy at all. When you approach it from a place where you are serving instead of selling, we can guarantee it will feel so much better to you.
And eventually, discovery calls will feel like second nature to you. But in the beginning, it is always helpful to have a notebook on hand that outlines the 4 steps listed with some leading questions so that you can always refer to it if you're feeling stuck on where to go next.
We're really excited for you to implement this practice into your business because we know it will help you start converting more leads into paying clients.
And that is all for today's episode of Nutrition for Your Business. We are so grateful for your time, and we'll catch you on the next episode.